Trevor Lawrence is entering a very pivotal year 2, and he has a lot more support than he did last year, and I think it's going to bode well for Lawrence and his development in 2022. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing and dropping a like on the video if you guys do enjoy it. We're officially on the road to 4,000 subscribers, so if you guys are new here, consider hitting that button. And the last thing I want to mention before we get into the content of today's video is actually an interesting idea I have for Madden 23. I'm very interested in doing a franchise CFM on the PlayStation 5. I think it could be a cool series for the channel and also be able to connect with some of you guys on Madden. So if you are interested in doing a Madden 23 CFM on PlayStation 5, I'll leave my Discord in the description. Send me a message so we can set things up for the franchise as Madden 23 gets ready to release. With all that being said, let's hop into the video about Trevor Lawrence and his breakout season in 2022. Just 2 years ago, Trevor Lawrence was seen as one of the best prospects to ever come out of college. He was put onto the tier of Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and many saw him as a generational prospect which could transform any franchise into a very good team down the road. Lawrence's rookie season really didn't go to plan, and I really do believe that had to do more with his surrounding supporting cast and coaching staff than it actually did with Lawrence himself. The Jags finished the year 3-14, last in the division, and then once again had a miserable season, ended up with the first overall pick, and became the laughingstock of the NFL once again. The entire Urban Meyer situation is completely unprecedented. I don't remember the last time we saw a coach just completely tear up a team, bring so many different distractions, and affect a team so much. I was never a fan of the hire, but the Jaguars did fire Urban in the middle of the season, and they tried to get out of the money they owed him as well because they said that they fired him because of cause. I don't know if there's any update on that, if they were actually able to retain that money, but the many distractions Urban caused and the complete disaster he was as an NFL coach only lasted for a couple of months. The Jaguars moved on. The time he was out the door, the Jaguars season was pretty much over, and the shift kind of focused to next season, and that's really what I want to get into as far as all the moves the Jaguars made this offseason and what they did to support Trevor Lawrence, counter to what they did his rookie season. Now for head coach, the Jaguars hired Doug Peterson. I really like that hire. I think Peterson brings some stability to the organization. He has a championship pedigree, and I think he's a pretty good quarterback coach as well. He's going to be able to get the most out of Trevor Lawrence, develop him up, and I just believe that the fact that he's a true professional, he's not going to bring distractions like an Urban Meyer, and he's not an unknown. The Jaguars did interview a lot of rookie head coaches, but I thought for their young team and their organization which needs some direction, I thought an experienced coach like Peterson was the right way to go, and they made that happen. But hiring Peterson was really only the beginning of the Jaguars' pretty good offseason. They completely overhauled the roster and brought in a lot of veterans and some solid players that I think are definitely going to help out the team. I want to start off with the offensive side of the ball. For tight end, they brought in Evan Ingram from the Giants on a 1-year, $9 million contract. And Ingram is one of those players that has all the tools to be a really good player, but he just hasn't really been able to pull it all together. He had a drop issue with the Giants. He missed a lot of easy catches, but he has great speed, he has good size, and if he can face that issue and build some chemistry with Lawrence, I do believe he can be a solid tight end. They also brought in a pair of new wide receivers. Zay Jones, the Jaguars signed him to a 3-year, $24 million deal and $14 million guaranteed. I think Zay Jones is a solid wide receiver. He's not going to be an elite player. That's not what the Jaguars signed him to be. Just a veteran who can step in, bring some solid play, and that's what the Jaguars are going to get out of Zay Jones. And then one of the most hated moves all offseason was when the Jaguars gave Christian Kirk a 4-year, $84 million deal, basically resetting the wide receiver market at the time. And if I'm honest, I don't think it's a great deal, but when you're a team like Jacksonville who's had a lot of issues the last decade, being relevant, being a good organization and team, you're going to have to overpay for some of these guys, and I think Kirk can improve. He can put up some decent numbers. I don't know if he's going to be worth the $84 million that they gave him, but I do think he can be a good wide receiver and excel as maybe a top 25, top 20 player if him and Lawrence can build that chemistry and become a pretty good duo. And then my favorite signing that they made on the offensive side of the ball was bringing in Brandon Sheriff, a first-team All-Pro in 2020. He's one of the best guards in the entire league, and they gave him a 3-year, $49.5 million deal with $30 million guaranteed. Sheriff will bring leadership and veteran presence to the offensive line, which will make that unit better. And I've already mentioned how he's one of the best guards in the league. That's going to be huge for a rookie quarterback that needs some time to survey the field as they kind of learn the system, learn how to read defenses. Sheriff was a big get for the Jags, and I'm happy they made an effort to improve the line up front for Lawrence. And the last couple of things I want to mention about the offense is Travis Etienne will be back this year for the Jaguars. He missed the entire rookie season with a foot injury. He adds a completely new weapon for Lawrence out of the backfield and running the ball. I really do think Etienne can be a nice dual threat back and definitely a fantasy sleeper. If any of you guys play fantasy football, I do believe Etienne could be a good pick in some later rounds. Doug Peterson said he's been doing really well through the whole offseason program. We're still going to monitor and make sure he's 100%. We don't want to have any setbacks at this stage, but it seems like Etienne is a full go and will not have any limitations as we enter training camp. And their other running back, James Robinson, will not go on the PUP list to start training camp. He tore his Achilles in week 16 last season, which is a devastating injury. Many people believe he was going to miss the start of the season, but it turns out that he's not. And I don't know where this advancement happened on Achilles injuries, but it seems like players the last couple of years who've suffered this injury, they get back pretty quick. I mean, this type of injury really used to be a career-ending type of injury, or you're out for over a year. Now people are getting back in just a few months, which is pretty crazy to me, but it is great to see James Robinson and Travis Etienne will be healthy for the start of the year. All those moves on offense were fantastic, but the defensive moves that the Jaguars made actually really impressed me when I saw them all together. One of the more surprising moves for the Jaguars this offseason was when they released Myles Jack. They saved about $8 million in cap space, but many fans of the NFL, including myself, was a little bit confused why they made this move, but it seemed like Doug Peterson and the Jaguars organization really wanted a fresh start. The Jags brought in Foyesade Oluokun on a 3-year deal worth $45 million with a guarantee of $28 million at signing. And Oluokun had a breakout year with the Falcons last year, and I think he can be even better with the Jaguars. He had 3 interceptions and almost 200 total tackles, which is absurd. So he'll fit in and replace Myles Jack pretty easily. And then to help out the run defense, they also signed Foley Fatukasi. They signed him to a 3-year, $30 million deal with $20 million in guaranteed money, and he's actually a very solid run-stopping defensive tackle, so he'll definitely be a solid contributor for the Jags defense. And their last main signing for their defense was the Los Angeles Rams cornerback Darius Williams. He's actually from Jacksonville and he took a little bit less money to play there. He signed to a 3-year, $39 million deal with $18 million guaranteed, and he's going to be the Jaguars cornerback 2 next to Shaquille Griffin. And now we can get into the draft, where the Jaguars did a lot of damage for their defense. I really like the young talent they brought in on that unit. The first overall pick, they took Trayvon Walker out of Georgia, and for a while it was back and forth between him or Aiden Hutchinson. They ended up going with Walker, who I believe has a higher ceiling. He got all the measurables, he just didn't really produce that much in college. And then later in the first round, they took Devin Lloyd out of Utah, again helping out the replacement of Myles Jack. And then with their first 3rd round pick, they took Luke Fortner out of Kentucky. He's very versatile. He can play center or both guard positions, but he's most likely going to play center for the Jaguars. And then again in the 3rd round, they also got another linebacker, Chad Muma. So they completely overhauled their linebacking unit. So now we will see a linebacking core of Josh Allen, Devin Lloyd, Oluokun, Trayvon Walker, and Chad Muma, and even Clavon Chasen if you consider him a linebacker at times. The Jaguars do have a lot of young talent on that defense, and if those players can be developed by the Jaguars coaches, I really do believe that the Jaguars could have a scary defense down the line. But how does this all help Trevor Lawrence? Well, I think it gives him a defense to rely on. He won't have to win shootouts all the time, which is very important for a rookie quarterback. He now has some new weapons on the offensive side of the ball, some solid wide receivers, a brand new tight end. He's going to be getting his college teammate Etienne back this year as well. And their offensive line, I think, is pretty good. It was ranked 24th according to Pro Football Focus last year, but now you get Brandon Sheriff and Fortner, 2 new starters for the interior line. I definitely think that unit should be at least average in 2022. Now, I don't expect the Jaguars to be a playoff team or Trevor Lawrence to emerge as a top 5 quarterback next year, but I do believe they can take a step in the right direction and definitely improve off of last year. They have a lot of new players, a lot of new veterans, still a very young team and a new coaching staff. There's going to be some growing pains and learning curves, but the Jaguars will be competitive in 2022, and Trevor Lawrence will take a step in his development with all the new players and coaching staff around him. Let me know what you think of Trevor Lawrence and how the Jaguars supported him this offseason, and also let me know if you think Lawrence will take a jump in year 2, or if you still have your questions about the quarterback. But thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.